was having a sort out of all my art books and trying to put them in order, which is tricky when you've got a lot. And I realized I couldn't find a particular book, a book by Brian Froud and Alan Lee called Faeries, which is a book that I picked up in the 80s, which, much like Terry Jones did with his Goblins of the Labyrinth book, um, was a series of illustrations of fairies and goblins and trolls with some text written alongside. And for the life of me, I cannot find that book. So it's like, okay, I've lost it. I'll have to buy it again. Um, so I was on Amazon and I was looking for it, and I came across this book, which I'd never heard of before. And I'm glad I stumbled across it because it really is terrific. This is Fairies of the Faultlines, as observed and documented by Iris Compiet, or Compiet, not quite sure. Um, and yeah, this is a terrific book, very much in the style of what Brian and Alan did with their fairy book. In fact, Iris has said that that was an inspiration, and as you'll see shortly, she has a style very similar to them, and John Howe as well. But she has made it much more, rather than just like the an illustration and a paragraph. It's a full-blown account of the creatures that she met in the fault lines. Now, what are the fault lines? Well, this is an idea which I really like the idea of. I think the first time I came across the idea of every mythical creature, be it pixie, goblin, hobgoblin, troll, whatever, they are still here. We've lost the ability to see them. They're still here, and I think I first come across it um, in the writings of Pat Mills when he was writing Slain for 2000 AD, and he basically was saying when man started divorcing himself from nature, building houses, building towns, building cities, laying down concrete, divorcing yourself from nature, most people have lost the ability to see them. They're all around us. You just can't see them. Okay, and this is an idea that Iris has done in this book. So I thought I'd show you this book. All right, I'll flick through it. Not page by page. It's going to just take too long. But um, yeah, there's a foreword by Brian Froud, um, and Alan Lee. Okay, hence this book popping up in my search. Um, and here she says, within the pages of this book, you will find paintings, sketches, and short stories that Iris Compiet, collected on my travels through a place I've come to know as the Fault Lines. The fault lines isn't a place in the traditional sense of the word. At least it's not just one place, but many. It's perhaps best described as areas where the veil between our human world and the world of the fairies is thinnest, and we can enter a world that is still ours but slightly different. Fairies are alive right here among us, but hidden behind a thin veil of other. Once you step beyond that veil, you will enter the fault lines. And what Iris does is she takes us on a trip through the fault lines, a place that she visits and sketches and paints, and then she's documented it all out in this book. All right, and she's divided everything up. So here we go, of the Green Man. All right, and as I say, the Brian Froud Alan Lee book would be like this. You would have an illustration, a sketch, and a paragraph in this, font as well, very similar. Um, but no, Iris takes it further. There's far more text than in that fairy book. Okay, so this is all still the Green Man or the Green People, um, and she has got a very, you know, you can you can see her influences most definitely, uh, but then she goes her own way with it. I love this idea that the fairy chrysalis, that chrysalises uh, resemble other creatures. Okay, and yeah, a lot of her artwork can be very whimsical. I say whimsical, I turn the page, and we've got a flower fairy that looks kind of like a hedgehog. I love this book. I'm so glad I got it. Um, it's very entertaining read. It's enjoyable to just study the techniques that she's used. These are apparently all watercolors, okay, but also, as a model maker and a fantasy figure painter, this is a great book for referencing color schemes. I'm just about to do some more of my Sylvaneth, which are like uh, woodland creatures, and there's going to be an awful lot of bark and brown. So yeah, color schemes like this are going to be dead handy. Okay, I'll move forward a little bit further. Yeah, the other thing is, I mean, we'll start with one category, but then she'll go into another. So this is the Faultlines version of unicorns. They take many different forms. All right, mandrakes, and then halfway going on through the thing about mandrakes, she starts talking about changelings. Okay, so yeah, very whimsical, but then she could be dead scary as well. I'll just stop so you can take some of these in. Yeah, that's a terrific idea. A sleeping giant in the landscape. Moving on. Yeah, bird-like fairies. I can't, that's a pull-out thing. I can't pull that out because I can't pull back far enough. Yeah, but bird-like fairies, like that fella. Okay. Witches. Love that one. Love the yellow eyes with that colour green. I think I'm going to be referencing that. Yeah, just on my Facebook page, I was talking about Peg Powler, and Peg Powler gets a mention down here. These are the creatures, these are the characters that lie in boggy waters, waiting to entice children or anyone into the water. And yeah, Jenny Greenteeth is mentioned here, Peg Powler, and the Shellycoat. Okay, so she knows her stuff. Oh, Iris, she's been doing an awful lot of research into folklore creatures. Let me just skip a bit more. Yep, two-headed witches. If you didn't think you could get such a thing, you do know now. Yep, trolls. I mean, sometimes the artwork is very labyrinth. Sometimes it's very Lord of the Rings. Sometimes with the early ones I was showing you, quite Nosferatu-like, you know. And the style doesn't stay the same for long before she switches again. We're still in trolls, but you get many different types. Gnomes, hobgoblins, and brownies. I love her colour palette. I love all these earthy tones. Red cap, his skis. See, look, these could be like, a Jim Henson creation. I don't really know much about Iris at all. It would be really good. I mean, some of these character designs would really work well in I mean, that's like the mouth of Sauron, isn't it? Some of these designs would be work brilliantly either in animation or you know, in live action. We're getting near the end now. We're into dragons. Well, who's not into dragons? Beautiful colours on these. I'm going to be pinching some of these ideas. I really do think so. Yeah, and I think we end with mermaids and sirens, those that call you to your doom. So there we go. That's all it is. I love it. Um, and we end almost exactly as we start. So a terrific book. I'm so glad I stumbled across it. Um, and I highly, highly recommend it if you are a fan of fantasy art, fan of Brian Froud, Alan Lee, John Howe. or just love beautiful, beautiful artwork.